What's up guys, I'm DK, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a top 10 list of my favorite Funko Pop announcements for the month of July 2026. And already this month was a pretty crazy month, not only with Comic-Con exclusives, but other really awesome releases. Starting at number 10, the Funko Shop exclusive Scorpion from Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now it is really cool to see this, not only because it's a new pop for the specific movie, but if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the very first pop of Scorpion in the Marvel lineup, even before a comic book variant, a movie might I add, that just released today as I'm recording this video. And I will say ahead of time, I'm not going to see this for a little bit, so if you have seen the movie, do not spoil it for anyone else, including me. But I like the way that this pop looks, especially the detail of the suit and the scar across the eye. I guess my only gripe about this is the fact that we got the live action version of Scorpion before a comic book version. Coming in at number 9, the Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 for the Marvel lineup. Now, I've always been a fan of the design of Spider-Man 2099, and the way that they pulled off the symbiote aspect with this pop looks really nice, and they pretty much incorporated the red portion of the suit as the symbiote. Even though I do enjoy this pop, it's fairly low on the list because I don't see myself likely getting this pop and adding it to my collection. Coming in at number 8, the Hot Topic exclusive Flocked Huggy Wuggy from Poppy Playtime. Now, it's funny enough, the common version of this pop actually made it onto the list last month, and I kind of wish that this pop was actually announced alongside that pop. It probably would have made it onto the list last month, unlike the common, and probably fairly high up because of the fact that it's got that flock specification. Coming in at number 7, the Space Bully Nebulax from Astrobot. Now, I honestly have no idea what this character is, and I haven't played the game of Astrobot. I just really like the overall design though, and how that green pops off really well, the eyes, the mouth, and especially the way they executed the spaceship. This pop looks very unique to me and stands out compared to a lot of different Funko Pops. Coming in at number 6, the 3 Caballeros 3-pack. Now, this 3-pack is really awesome, especially because the only way that the 3 Caballeros, I believe, were made by Funko were in the form of the Funko sodas, where they used to have the double chases. And I believe, and I think that is Donald Duck in this set, was the common. Overall, the detail is nice with all 3 of the pops. Of course, Donald with the violin, we got the other character with, I believe, a horn of some sort, and then the ukulele with the other one. If I had any gripe towards as to why this isn't any higher, it's probably the fact that this would make sense with the flock specification. I think if this was a flock specification, this definitely would have moved a couple more spaces up onto this list. Coming in at number 5, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Space Godzilla. Now, of course, this is, I guess it would be the normal version, unlike the blue version that was added to the top 10 list last month. They announced the blue one last month, and then in July is when they announced this specific variant. And I think I've mentioned it on the channel already that I do prefer the blue version over this specific version, but the details cannot be ignored with this pop, to where it definitely deserved to be on this top 10 list and pretty high up on this list as well. Coming in at number 4, the Pop 250 Harry Houdini. Now, I felt like at some point one of these Pop 250 pops were going to make it onto the list, and I think it was kind of shocking to see a pop of Harry Houdini. He definitely is one of those people that are considered an icon and would make sense for the sake of pop culture icons. And I really like how they pulled this off, not only with the slicked hair, but they added the chains because he is an escape artist, an illusionist. But I think once again, and it's something I may bring up in a little bit, is the fact that I felt like there should have been more added to this. Maybe it's not just the chains. Maybe he's in a straitjacket. Maybe he's in some sort of like water tank.
Shout out goes to the unacceptable viewer.
And the reason that they ended up getting a shout out is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shout out, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video.
Coming in at number 3, the new Heisenberg from Breaking Bad. Now, I was really excited when the leak was first posted of brand new Breaking Bad pops, because those OG Breaking Bad pops are so expensive now, and I am very fortunate to own a few pops in my collection from that set, including the OG Heisenberg. And it's crazy to see how this character has definitely evolved in pop form from when I have the original one to the version that we have now, where even you can look at the detail in the hat, the glasses, the wrinkles in the skin for Walter White, and even the bag of, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word of what's inside of there on YouTube, but you know exactly what it is. And they did such a great job with this that it's making me contemplate whether or not I actually want to get both the new set of Breaking Bad pops and the OG set completed once again, because like I mentioned, I have the Heisenberg, I have the original Jesse Pinkman in the crystal ship, and at one point did have the Gus Fring with the half-blown face, but then since have actually sold that pop out of my collection. I kind of regret it, but nonetheless, that Heisenberg is really awesome and definitely is a great pop to add if you weren't able to obtain the OG one, because this is leaps and bounds better with the detailing. And speaking of Gus Fring that I talked about earlier, coming in at number 2, the Toy Temple exclusive Bloody Gus Fring from Breaking Bad. Now, the detail on this pop is absolutely phenomenal, and it's probably the best bloody variant Funko Pop that I've honestly ever seen. Not only do we have the squiggly lines that we normally see with streams of blood, but there's also the dots with the blood that's splattered all over his face, the suit, his hands, and even the X-Acto knife that he's holding. I'm just hoping that when this pop ends up actually releasing and I get to see it in person, that the blood splatter actually looks as great as it does in the glam shop. And just on the bloody detail alone is why I think it's better than the Heisenberg. Before I mention about my number 1 pick, let's talk about a few honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention on my list, the NFL mascot pops. Now, I do love when Funko does these sports mascot pops, whether it is for the NFL, the NBA, or even personally, I love the NHL mascot pops. And I contemplated on adding one or multiple pops onto this list, but I couldn't decide which one I wanted to add, which is why it's on the honorable mentions portion. The second honorable mention on my list, the Pop 250 1-of-1 pops. Now, I knew I was going to bring this up again because there are a lot of pops in here that were really cool to see. A couple of examples being the Amelia Earhart that they're doing, which is pretty sweet. I just feel that I wish they added like an airplane to it to make it a pop rides. But one of the reasons I don't like these pops is that these feel very generic to the point where it feels like I'm going back to like 2010 when pops are first made, and you had the generic arms to the side post, because that goes with every pop. And there's even pops in here like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson that have already had pops previously, and I think you can definitely save money on just getting one of those, and especially the Michael Jackson that they announced, where it's exactly the same one as the common version, except this one I believe is metallic if I'm not mistaken. And the last honorable mention on this list are the WWE and Garbage Pail Kids pops of Rhea Ripley and John Cena. I love the idea of this being a collaboration. I know that they did the Topps Chrome cards, I believe, of Garbage Pail Kids and WWE that looked really awesome, and I really love the aspect that these are pops, but I have so many gripes with this, including the first one being that they look very tiny. They look like they are the size of Pokemon pops, to where I feel like you're not really getting your money's worth of what you're buying. And speaking of money, that's another reason, because there's no reason why these should have been retailed for $200 USD, even if it is limited to 250 pieces. If anything, it would have made sense for it to be, I think it would be 60 USD, because that's the price range of where that piece count being in the mythic category of limited edition should be sold at. I think the only way that these would have made it onto the list is if it was someone that maybe I would have wanted to collect, like for example, The Undertaker. And coming in at number 1 on my list, the San Diego Comic-Con Forky and Karen Beverly 2-pack from Toy Story 5. Now, if you guys remember last month on the list, I mentioned this on the honorable mentions portion because of the way that Funko was doing the announcements were so sporadic, and even though this pop did get leaked, I didn't know if it was officially getting announced for June or July. And now that it is a July pop, not only has it made it onto the list, but at number 1, because it is going to be the pop that I'm going to buy out of all of the pops I mentioned on this top 10 10 list. But that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But thanks for watching, and see you guys later. Peace!